And welcome back to the 2025 James P. McCarthy. We called him Mac back in the day. He is the namesake for our Southeast Regional Lifeguard Championship event here in beautiful Daytona Beach, Florida. We are being supported and hosted by Volusia County Lifesaving and Volusia County Beach Safety.
And we've got another beautiful day leading into the week. We thought we were going to get a forecast, but this is just grand. Light breeze out of the southeast, emerald colored water, and such a fantastic number of competitors from all over the state of Florida, including Orange Isle, Alabama.
Orange Beach, Alabama.
Orange Beach, that's
and
it.
Also Gulf Shores, Alabama. You guys are in for a treat coming up at this next event. This is the surf ski paddle. This is a 800-meter, half-a-mile course. We have some elite kayaks here. These are not kayaks that you can just jump on and be able to paddle right away. These take a lot of training to be able to even navigate in even the smallest chop. A lot of training goes into this surf ski event. These surf skis are 19 feet long by 19 inches. They have a completely round bottom with no flat spots, making them very tippy, very unstable. They only weigh 39 pounds, which allows the paddlers to be able to transport them to and from the beach fairly easily. And these paddles they use are all carbon fiber. They weigh less than a pound in some cases, and you can spend up to $800 for a surf ski paddle, just for the paddle, Jack.
I was going to say, it sounded expensive, and by virtue of their foot pedals, clarify with me, is that a steering mechanism?
So the foot paddles actually do two things. They help you to navigate around the course by turning the skeg underneath, and they also help with balance. If you feel like you're falling in one direction, you hit the opposite pedal, and it rights you a little bit to the center balance a little bit. So you'll see the more novice ski paddlers using the pedals more for balance, and you'll see the more expert ski paddlers basically not using the top part of the pedal at all and using their heels to drive their power, and all their power will be coming from their shoulders, triceps, upper body, but they, like I said, they're driving off their heels for that power.
And steering can be used with their graphite paddle as well. Now, one thing I was wondering about, these skis seem to be not too unlike riding a bicycle. You got to have forward momentum or you're going over.
That is true. If you're at a stopped position, you have to have the paddle in the water to maintain your stability. And if you're going forward and you have some forward momentum, the balance becomes much easier. These surf skis, like we talked about the price on the paddle boards, these are actually more expensive than the paddle boards, right? So you can get a good used surf ski for maybe $1,500. But if you want one of the top-end, highly competitive models that we have here from Australia, you might be spending closer to $4,000.
Goodness gracious. And then we got shipping costs when we talk about going out to nationals in Huntington State Park Beach this August. You got to take care of these things in transit to make sure they don't get damaged. They're certainly fragile. Now, as far as life-saving, applying them to the actual profession of life-saving, Jim, this is, of course, a skill that we don't see very often, and a tool that we don't see very often in Florida beaches as it applies to life-saving. But how is it applied to life-saving?
So you're right. You're absolutely correct, Jack. We do not use surf skis for actual life-saving. It's primarily used in the States only for these lifeguard competitions. But there is a practical application to surf skis in other parts of the world. You can use a surf ski to get a buoy out to a stranded swimmer that may be 200, 300, 400, 500 yards offshore to be able to stabilize that victim until your backup personnel get there. But most of the time nowadays you would use either a PWC or you would use your IRB or inflatable rescue boat to do that. But as we talked about yesterday, sometimes your jet ski doesn't start when you turn that key. And you might have to rely on your personal lifeguard power to jump on your surf craft and get that buoy out to a victim. But like I said, not really used in the United States for life-saving, but it's definitely an excellent training tool to get your lifeguards acclimated with the surf environment. And some people have a natural affinity to this event.
Right.
They jump on the surf ski, and almost immediately they find out that they have some natural balance and endurance in this event.
Exactly. You know, and when we talk about life-saving and the practical use of it, hey, if you're on a surf ski or a kayak, just a recreational kayak or anything other than just swimming out to a victim, whether you're a professional or a non-professional, it's always better to toss something to them or throw a life-saving tool to them or use a craft of some sort. And hey, I would much rather have a surf ski on hand or a kayak or anything like that to actually execute a rescue, whether as a private citizen or a professional, than just swimming out there without anything.
And you know, when we have these surf skis, we're going to talk about the speed at which they can go through the water. So this is our fastest surf craft that we use at these events. You can expect a fast paddleboarder to do about a 10-minute mile. You can expect a fast surfboat rower to maybe do a 9-minute mile. But these surf skis can sometimes get so fast they can actually break 8 minutes in the mile. So this is definitely our fastest surf craft. And because of the speed, your reaction time has to be much quicker when it comes to navigating these buoys around the course, maybe steering around some of your other competitors. And, you know, just like we saw in the 2K run this morning, there'll be different strategies going into this race. You'll see some people that put everything into the start. They'll take off as fast as they can, and they'll try to hold that lead. Then you'll have some other people that'll try to draft off the leaders, save their energy for the very end, and then kick it in when they hit that third apex buoy.
Right. Spacing looks like an issue here. They look like they're giving each other enough room, 3 feet on each side, you know, because those paddles extend out away from your craft.
In the hands of the starter, we're waiting for the whistle. It looks like open is all going in one heat, and they only do this if there's 16, or is it? It might be 24. I can't remember.
I think there's 24 in the field.
You're allowed to have 24 vessels in this event. Sometimes we might go over by 1 or 2, but we only do that if the competitors agree to it.
I heard some banging of oars on the initial start, and now they
as
space
expected,
themselves.
we have our Australians from Destin out here in front. You can see them by their black and white prison motif.
So smooth, though.
On
So
their beanies. But look at third place coming up from behind.
It's just a thing of beauty to watch this work under a drone, but just the cadence that they use and the swiftness of the craft going
so
running
I've
across
just
the
been
top.
informed that the USLA rules dictate that we only allow 16 people in this event per heat, but sometimes we make accommodations for time in the Southeast region, and we allow the event to go over 16 competitors. It looks like they've made that accommodation today, but we only do that if the competitors agree to it. If anybody is not into that and they want to do 2 heats, we do that. But it looks like today we're going to put everybody in the same heat here. You see the paddlers now going through the flag line. They pretend like the flag line isn't even there. It's not a part of this event. There are no penalties for going through those flags. They're only looking at the 3 orange triangular apex buoys.
And they are nose to tail all the way through the second apex, the entire field. There's probably some jockeying, some gamemanship going on there. But getting back to the heat, eliminating and everybody going at once eliminates them having to go right back to a final, correct?
Absolutely. And if you're very good at the surf ski, you know, you don't want to do this 2 times and then go to a final and then save up your energy for the International Iron Man or Iron Woman later. You would prefer to knock this all out in one go, and it looks like that's what they decided to do.
So safe to say, at least half of this field is going to be in an Ironman.
I would guess. I would maybe even
All
suggest a higher number, maybe
Yeah.
80-90% of these skiers, if they have any type of paddling or swimming ability, will jump into the International Ironman, Iron Woman, unless, of course, they're tired from all their other events. The Iron Man, Iron Woman is at the end of the day, and sometimes you just run out of steam.
And this is a water finish, correct?
This is a water finish. We have our 2 our checkered flags in the water, waist deep water. Our first place paddler looks like he led from start to finish. Easy race for this individual. I wish I could tell you who it is. Maybe somebody will be able to text me that information.
Oh, a capsize right at the finish line.
And this is where your handlers come in. You're exhausted after your race, and you're expecting your handlers to come in and grab your ski and get it out of the way.
Yeah, to save it from damage.
And we talked about how expensive these surf skis are. It's a real shame when you don't have handlers pulling the equipment out of the way and they just get slammed by the surf ski coming in from behind. I believe we're looking at 8th, 9th, and 10th place coming in.
Oh, this is going to be a traffic jam here.
And I can't imagine the job the officials are going to have to try to figure out who's coming in here 10th, 11th, 12th to 16th place. And these type of events, they'll hand out popsicle sticks with numbers on them, and then they'll also televise the event. They'll probably use the footage you're looking at right now to determine who the places are. And when races get this close, sometimes you have protests, sometimes you have disagreements with officials, but hopefully cooler heads will prevail here, and we'll be able to get a number ranking that everybody can agree on.
Yeah, they're going to be asking for some drone footage. What did we do before drones existed? I don't know, because the middle of the pack finish there looked like 5 of them all came across at the same time. I don't know how in the world they're going to cipher this out.
I've just been told the drone was not up for that race, so we're going to have to go with the footage that we all just watched. Sometimes the officials on the beach will use their cameras on their phones to film. Sometimes we'll have some more professional equipment down there. I'm not really sure what they're looking at, but good luck to the officials trying to sort this one out.
Okay, I see one of the 2 drones over there. Hopefully it was on top of the finish line, because boy, they're going to need it. They're going to be radioing up here for us to let them know what we saw as well. And I don't have a clue where those finishes came in.
We talked about earlier how expensive this piece of equipment is. A lot of times your beach patrol or your lifeguard team won't be able to buy their own surf skis, so individual people will buy them, or they'll get sponsors in their area to help pay for them. You'll see some of the equipment that has stickers on the side delineating what sponsor helped them buy that piece of equipment. But because they're so expensive, sometimes multiple team members will have to use the same surf ski. A lot of these surf skis are adjustable. The foot pedals move up and back depending on what the inseam is on the individual paddler. It's not necessarily the height, it's how long their legs are.
Right, and I've even seen some of them use a little shore up of padding before. Tell me this, are they unlike or more of the same as our high prototype boards and dories as far as venting goes? I do believe that they will expand in the heat too, so they have to put these things in shade or open up a portal while they bask in this summer heat, so they don't expand, right, Jim?
Yeah, if you don't take your plug out or you don't take your deck plate off, you can really damage these skis in this 88, 90 degree temperatures that we have here in Daytona Beach. So, and some people will use a hard rubber plug with a little piece of straw in it, so they won't have to take them in and out, just to protect the craft from any damage that expanding air will do to them.
I see a couple of different makes out there. I see the Fen, and I see what was the other name brand that I saw as far as...
So with these skis, in the paddle boards, they're almost exclusively from Australia, but when we get into the surf ski race, we get a lot of our surf skis from South Africa.
I see.
So
Epics, Force Fields, what have you.
We get the Fens. We also get the Epic, which is the new brand that everyone seems to be buying from South Africa. Epic has been making skis for decades, and they only recently started making surf skis for lifeguard competitors. They used to only make surf skis for open surf ski races, much longer distance races. Now they're making the sprint surf skis that we use here in these events.
Is this an Olympic event? I've seen a craft similar to this in kayaking, sort of is what they would call it, I guess, in the Olympics.
Right. They have kayaks in the Olympics and OC1s that are very similar to these paddle crafts, but I do not believe that surf ski is an Olympic event yet.
But these manufacturers may be in that arena.
Oh, absolutely. I'm positive that these same manufacturers are making those same crafts that are used in the Olympics. And let's talk about life-saving sport for a second here. As life-saving sport becomes more popular, it is our hopes that it does become an Olympic event. In fact, a little trivia for you here, Jack. In 1956, surf life-saving was an Olympic event as an exhibition event in Australia. There was a team of California lifeguards that went over to Australia and competed in that exhibition event, including the founder of the USLA, Bob Burnside,
Oh, wow.
the inventor
I did
of
not
the
know
Burnside buoy. And you can see that footage on YouTube if you care to look at it, if you want to look that 1956 Olympic footage up.
How interesting. But there's a lot of parallels with Olympic events. I mean, the swim events, the swim events and the kayaking events and the rowing. I mean, there's a lot of parallels here. It's not an exact comparison, but they are closely related.
And there is coming up, there is a push to have surf boat rowing in the Olympics, but it's not the same style of surf boats that we use here. In fact, if you looked at those boats, they don't resemble the boats that we use here at all. They're a very unique design. They don't have the same height in the gunnel. They don't have the safe self-bailing capabilities of the boats that we have here on our beach. That they are a unique design, and it'd be interesting to see how that plays itself out with our American rowers as they transition to those new rowboats.
Oh, that's an interesting topic there. It looks like right now they are staging for the women's international surf ski race, as on the north end of the course, I see some of the staff and crew, the support crew that we've got out here from Volusia County, are starting to assemble a sprint run relay lanes.
And let's give a shout out to our officials again. We are 15 minutes ahead of schedule right now. This event was supposed to start at 10:30. It started at 10:15, so we're already done with the open men, and now we're marshaling for the open women. So the officials are really on top of it today. We're just flying right through this. As we look down at our competitors, a lot of the same familiar faces. You might start out in your life-saving competitive career as a swimmer, and then that swimming may translate to good paddleboard skills based on your ability to grab the water and feel the water. And then you decide that, hey, you know what, my balance is pretty good on these paddleboards. I'm going to try those surf skis. So you have a lot of these
waist-deep
competitors will evolve into
first
different events as they get better at lifeguard competitions. And Casey Francis is an example of that. Started out as a swimmer, became an excellent paddler, and now she's elite in the country in rowing and in this next event, the surf ski, 800-meter surf ski paddle.
She got a loaner, got introduced to it, or borrowed one, or your agency may have owned a couple themselves, or the association may have owned a couple, and they passed those around. Some of the ones that were used and then not necessarily discarded, but were upgraded and became community property, and that's where they learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like I said, you're borrowing a ski, you're finding out if you have a natural affinity for it or not. Whether your balance allows you to, take up surf skiing very easily. Somebody told me one time that it takes about 7 hours to get good at a surf ski. Whether you do that in 7 one-hour increments, whether you do that 20 minutes a day for 21 days or whatever, it takes about 7 hours to become proficient. That's just proficient. That means not falling off the thing every 5 minutes.
Yeah,
to become competitive or elite, we're talking about hundreds of hours here.
Yes, learning how to not be too discouraged. We got the replays of the last surf ski event as well, and of course the judges are going to want to get a good look at that. I don't know if they got a clean look at it, but once again, the advantage of the drone is just giving us a bird's eye view of this finish.
And our ladies are off.
No, they're getting ready to start. This is a replay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
This is the replay of the finish.
This is the replay of the men's final.
Where all the traffic congestion was.
And we're going to use this, the officials are going to use this to sort out who came in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. It looks like we have 11, 12, and 13 coming in here.
You'll see a capsize. You'll see...
from this angle, Jack, it doesn't look quite as close as it did from the earlier footage that we had.
Little minor bumping, little rubbing is racing.
Our officials are doing a good job handing out those popsicle sticks.
This was the group I was talking about right here. This waterfall, this cascade of noses coming across.
It looks like it was a good race for 16th place, like it always is in these events.
I know. From one point, you take a hole in the side of your craft.
And we're looking at that footage once again. There's our first place paddler. We have a three-way race for second place, but as they get closer to the checkered flags,
for fourth.
And here we go. And you have to get the entire ski
6, 7
through that chute there, through those two checkered flags.
You
cannot dive off of your ski. You have to be in contact with your craft as it crosses the finish line.
8th, 9th, and 10th were clean.
You don't need your paddle in your hand to finish, but you do need to be in contact with your ski.
Those 2 finishes, we had a capsize at the finish line, and then this.
And it does look like from this angle that our handlers were out there grabbing the skis. I didn't see a whole lot of damage done with skis wrecking into each other. That's always a good thing.
Yes. Hopefully they weren't in the way. Okay, now we have the ladies lining up. They've got lane assignments. And looks like a pretty full lineup as well.
They've just received the direction to float the skis. When you hear that float them, it means you go out into water about waist deep. You put the ski to your side, whether you're right-handed or left-handed. Put it on one side or the other. And then this pop-up start is something that these ski paddlers practice all the time. The really good paddlers will be able to pop up and put their butt right into that seat, right from their pop. You'll see some other ones that do kind of like a side saddle start where they jump in sideways and swing their legs over. You'll even see some of these ski paddlers going right to their chest, almost like a paddleboard start. And then
swinging
around, putting their legs in the channels, and then. But while they're doing that, they're always trying to keep their paddle in the water for balance. This is really impressive that people can really get a good jump on this. These people that have practiced their start.
Now, will the starter wait? If there's a little roller coming in, will the starter wait just so this doesn't get more difficult?
It depends on the personality of the starter.
Because it's almost like jumping on a
and they're off. And we can see
all styles of
some
mounts.
of the women that have practiced their start popped right into the seat and they're off and going. And we see some of the other ladies here struggling to get into their craft.
Got a little sideways.
But sometimes just because you have a poor start doesn't mean that you're a poor paddler. Once you get that ski going, then those muscle groups come in, that training comes in. You might do distance paddling all the time, you just don't practice your start, and that'll play itself out as this race goes on. This is a quick race, 3 to 4 minutes, 800 meters or a half a mile. It looks like we have a really good race right now for first place.
And a couple beginners in the back, which we mentioned those. You got to start somewhere.
It looks like Casey Francis in third place. I'm trying to figure out who first and second are. Could that be April O'Gorman in first place?
It should be. If she's got a red cap and black Jolyn suit on it, it is most likely April. She's been practicing quite extensively. And both of those ladies will be bidding for world teams depending on their finishes in Huntington.
And I don't expect Casey's happy with third place.
No.
So we'll see if she can catch the top 2 paddlers. Maybe there'll be a push here at the end. And like we saw in the paddleboard race, waves can always change the order.
Right. Near collision at the first turn. But, Casey's got to be pleased with her overall finishes so far. I mean, this is going to be a long 2 days for anybody.
Sometimes in a race like this where you have a battle for first and second around that buoy, it allows for a nice clean turn on the third place paddle. Let's see if that gives anybody an advantage. It looks like, is that April O'Gorman? I can't tell, but
I think it is.
And it looks like she's pulling away from the second place paddler as we head into the third apex buoy. So at this point, we have about 200 meters to go.
Oh, now we've had a move on the inside from the apex.
That's great coursemanship right there. We saw our second place paddler decide to take a closer tack on that apex buoy and was able to pass our first place paddler. But the race isn't over yet. We're getting closer to shore. Paddlers are now about 100 yards from shore. Casey Francis still in third place.
Small little wave runners now will have a big impact on how these ladies finish.
This is where crap position comes in. If you're not far enough closer to the beach, you're not going to catch those first sets of shore break waves. And it looks like we have a clear champion here. There really isn't a race anymore for first place. And I wish I knew who that was. I'd love to give her props. It looks like it is April O'Gorman in first place.
It could be.
And we have second place, and then Casey in third place. And these are pretty clearly defined places here. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth are all out by themselves. I don't see any places changing here.
No big traffic jams.
It's going to make it much easier for the officials in this women's heat than it was in the men's as far as delineating what place each competitor got. There does appear to be a race for, was it 7th or 8th place here?
I think it's 8th place.
We've got 3 paddlers abreast heading into the finish line flags. Again, this is a water finish. Flags are out in about waist-deep water. And then behind these 3 have another little pack fighting for the 11th and 12th place position. And then it looks like everybody in this race is going to get some points.
Yeah, yeah. And it was close. So the middle of the pack was close right there. We had one little cluster that runner kind of tightened up the field there. But other than that, I think it's going to be decided pretty clearly. And again, kudos to those handlers to get the crafts out of the way, to make ways for the next people that are coming in for their finish.
And kudos to these paddlers here at the back of the pack, some of which had to be talked into doing this race. They're maybe not as comfortable on the surf ski as they'd like to be, but they jumped on them anyway to score a point or 2 for their respective teams.
Yeah, Regionals 101 for surf ski craft. They've got to enjoy it. They're going to get points. They probably didn't expect to compete up there with the Casey Francises anyway, but if that could get them hooked, good for them.
And here we go. Our 16th place paddler is now in, and our 2025 regional champions are now in the books. If you haven't done so, please go to ser.lifeguardregionals.com. Again, ser.lifeguardregionals.com, and see your real-time results. And you can look and see who placed in this event, what teams are where, and you can compare it to the video. And you know, when you watch this later, these videos will be up on YouTube for quite a long time. We'll be able to watch this. You can watch them as many times as you want, compare them with the results.
And that's a good way to identify the competitors. We're going to be going to the next event, the 90-meter sprint relay, which is a real fast one.
Not a relay.
Oh, it's not.
Not a relay. This is the beach sprint. This is a new event for the USLA. This has been contested internationally for years.
Really?
We were able to get this event. We were supposed to have this event at last year's regionals, and we forgot to put it on the program. And we heard a lot of negative comments about that. So we're making sure that we have it on the event for today. It was a national event last year. This is the second year they'll be using it as a national level event. And this is an event where you might be at a beach patrol that doesn't have 4 fast runners,
right?
And you want to do this as an individual event. You want to be that person that wins the sprint event, and maybe you're good at 20. This isn't necessarily your beach flaggers either. The beach flags are only 20 meters. So to be a good beach flagger, you only have to run 20, 25 meters. And this is a 90-meter event. So sometimes those beach flaggers get passed at the end of the 90-meter sprint.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
My name's Ryder. I chose to be a lifeguard because all of my friends are doing it and I love the ocean.
My name is Sophia and I chose to become a lifeguard because my friends convinced me to do it and I enjoy the thrill of being able to save people.
I'm Nathan and I chose to be a lifeguard because of the flexible work hours and I love to stay active.